Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Red Bull GRC is now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
Welcome, race fans, to the Phoenix International Raceway, and tonight we've got some NMNTS action on hand from Avondale, Arizona, USA. It says Quaker State 400 and NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Don't mind either one of those. We're going to work on actually getting that fixed in the future, but I found a couple of new options on IRTVO that I was completely neglecting in the past, and I really want to use them because I feel like I'm cool. So, we've even got, as you can see, the weather information here weather, 78 degrees, and guys, this is one of the final off-season races for the NMNTS Super Series. There'll be more sponsor information available tomorrow with some news releases, but guys, Zach Lindgren and Brennan Eltoff in the booth, what do you think we're going to see tonight as these guys are finishing qualifying?
I mean, we're going to see some pretty much tight door-to-door racing tonight. I got to take a few laps on these cars, and I mean, these cars are very, very well-rounded and able to manage for the first few laps, and then after that, when the tires start to fall off a little bit, that's when the tires kind of, like I said, when they start to fall off, that's when the cars kind of start to handle really tight. So, I mean, we're going to see some really close action. We're going to see a lot of bottom running, a lot of bottom feeding, but we're going to see some really close action.
Yeah, I feel like you're about to say lit there and slip it in. Anyways, so you can see the air temp and track temp are both set to default conditions per iRacing, and so 78.01 degrees Fahrenheit for both, with 55% humidity, and the forecast, not that it matters with the lights on, is partly cloudy. Getting ready for 75 laps here tonight from the Phoenix International Raceway, soon to be rebranded as the ISM Raceway, and I believe it actually already has been. Do want to mention, if we can get a decent angle of it here, possibly. That's not the one. Do want to kind of go over that at some point. Anyways, they're going to be reconfiguring this track sometime this season, but to our starting grid, that's not the right results. We're all messed up, ladies and gentlemen, apologies for that, but Tyler Justice is your pole sitter here tonight, with Jared Beasley to his outside of row number 1. In row number 2, we've got Bradley Wilson and Trevor Harmon to his outside. Row number 3 has Aiden Young to the inside and Mark Richter to the outside, with Terry Mason and Kenneth Yance making up row number 4. And to round out your top 10, we've got Clayton Kurtz and Michael Redding.
And to continue on from 10th, we got Joseph Vanduar and Ron Miller, row 6 respectively. Behind them, we got Derek Robinson and John Barron, 13th and 14th. John Barron was the last one to take time, and then after that, it goes to Mike Bruno, Corey Walters, Robbie Buckner, and Jason Burgess.
Sounds great. Well, Brendan, I don't know if you got any track time tonight. These guys are about to go green in just a moment, but I don't know if you got track time tonight, but Zach and I definitely did. And this will be interesting because the track is pretty much as grippy as you're going to get it. I think it's rather grippy, actually, with the car and track combination. I don't think there's much room for kind of getting very sideways unless you really use the apron down there on the insides of the corners. I think these guys are going to be pretty planted all night long. Obviously, you have huge clear plexiglass spoilers on the backs of these cars, and just the shape of the car itself produces quite a bit of downforce. So it'll be interesting to see how this race goes tonight. But coming to the green flag here, boys, Tyler Justice has the call. Green flag is in the air. They're off and away. Tyler Justice, Jared Beasley control row 1.
Tyler got a great start off the bottom. Jared has a gap to get down to the bottom there. He decides to stay on the top. Bradley Wilson now battling him for second.
Just about everybody's going to take the dog leg. Sorry.
I was just going to mention, through the dog leg, you see most of the field taking it, and that's going to be the constant all night, is these guys are going to use that dog leg all they can. It's paved down there to give the drivers an option. Unfortunately, that's changing in 2018 with the rebranding of the track to ISM Raceway, but they can still use it for now, at least on iRacing. And I think it's a pretty good tool for these drivers to use, but the league policy here in the NMNTS is that if you go down there, it's your responsibility to make it back up without causing a wreck. And so we'll see if it causes anything here tonight, but so far, clean and green through 2 laps, and Tyler Justice just off and away, a huge lead already.
Yeah, and like you were mentioning, it's your responsibility to get back up onto the track. Usually with every vehicle that you bring here, whether it be a Cup car, a Xfinity car, or a Camping World truck, usually when you try to get down on the apron, it's really loose trying to get down here. But in these cars, they're really stable getting down there and running through it. Don't really get loose, except when you hit the wall. That's when everything kind of gets squirrely. But besides that, these cars are really stable down there, so we're going to see a lot of people using that apron down tonight. But yeah, Tyler Justice out to a huge lead now, almost a second already over the field, back to Bradley Wilson, and behind him, Jared Beasley, Aiden Young, and Trevor Harmon.
So Brandon and I have already done a race with the Super Late models today. That was on YouTube, on the PSI TV YouTube channel. You can check it out later on. However, that was at a very different racetrack. That was at pretty much a mixing bowl that almost resembles Bristol Motor Speedway. Just high banks and short little straightaways, and that makes up Southern National Motorsports Park in North Carolina, whereas here we've got just a very flat, very fast track known as Phoenix International Raceway. And guys, it's a completely different beast than a lot of the short tracks strewn throughout the South. Honestly, Brendan, Zach, what do you think is the best plan of attack for these guys here tonight?
I think it's probably something not too familiar in this car for a lot of people. A little bit of setup work actually going into it a little bit earlier with the officiating crew to get it happy for everyone. So I think a lot of people don't really spend a lot of time here, so it's a learning process, I would say, because there's not going to be exactly anything like what you've raced here before. So just kind of settle in, feel how far you can actually push the car here, which I think a lot of people have kind of picked up on earlier in practice, especially like Tyler Justice, since he's really pulling away, and then just go from there and see what you can do with it.
Yeah, like Brendan was saying, these cars aren't cars that you bring to these track, and even when they do, they only come here, I believe, once. We're coming here once in the season for NMNTS in this series, so I mean, this is a good way to sort out the car, how it feels getting into the corners, coming out. Like I was saying earlier, these cars are really nice getting into the corners on fresh tires, but after that, the car kind of goes away and you have to deal with the tight race car. But yeah, for most of the guys right now, it's just about finding a line, settling in, finding what's fast for you personally, and start really working that line and see where it can get you. If not, start trying to search around already and find a line that is going to work for you.
Yeah, I think it's really important for these guys to also save tires over the course of a run. This place eats tires up, just, flat track nature. And there is only one opportunity for these guys to get a pit stop in tonight. That is at the halfway break at the completion of lap 39 tonight. So they only have that one chance to come in and get 4 tires or 2 tires, however they may choose to play the strategy. That's their only chance to get tires on these super late models all night long. And those are going to be key. So you want to make sure that you're saving tires before and after that pit stop, because otherwise you're going to have a real rough night all night long.
Yeah, and it's really hard to save tires when you've got cars like this. Cars that are so close together, and you know they're going to be going about the same speed, so they're extremely even. So it's really hard to keep that in your mind, to not push yourself, to save those tires so you can get competitive and get up and race against these guys. As we see Michael Redding now start working on Aiden Young, has passed Aiden Young. He's come to life in the past few laps. It's all about keeping that mentality of saving your tires, not pushing it too hard just so you can run down the guy in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are going to have challenges all night long in many different forms. Obviously, a very flat track, so you can't charge the corners too much. And, Zach was mentioning a little bit as well, these are very even cars considering they're all fixed setups. And even Brennan touched on that a little bit. And actually, you see the result of that is these guys push them a little bit too hard. They aren't quite exactly to everyone's wants and needs. And so Jared Beasley already getting real tight out of turn 4. Got the wall pretty good there that time. It looks like about lap 11 of 75, and we're already seeing these guys get so tight that they're pushing up into the wall, hitting it, and that's really going to do a huge number on these super late models throughout the run.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe these guys do not have any fast repairs. They do not. So Jared might have to dump that car around as he starts working on Aiden to get back around him. He will successfully do that, but Jared's got to be careful now. He can't really damage that right front anymore. If he does, that car's just going to get tighter and tighter for him to the point where he won't be able to race it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what we saw earlier, Brennan, or I guess the inverse of what we saw earlier at Southern National, where those guys across the pond in Europe could pretty much ding those things up as much as they wanted to, and as long as the chassis was fine, as long as the suspension was fine, they continued on pretty much no problem. Whereas here tonight, aerodynamics are going to matter. And if they start putting the cars in the walls now, they're not going to be doing so well after, 20, 30 laps.
It definitely is. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a lot of these guys. I think you just really have to figure out where you can run, how hard you can run. Unfortunately, Jared Beasley just pushed it to the limits a bit too much. So, and like you mentioned with the damage already, just the aero is a little bit more important, especially the longer straights and all that, whereas with Southern National you could get away with pretty much a brick on wheels, I think, there and still be fast.
Yeah, and actually I probably shouldn't even say the aerodynamics matter, but this track is a lot more technical, whereas Southern National you kind of can just pitch it in there. Even if you're a little damaged, you should be fine, even if you're missing the corner a little bit. But at a place like Phoenix International, you have to be pretty much on top of it. You can't ding your car up too much. You can't, really the biggest thing is you can't damage the right front of the car. I think that's the biggest thing that these guys have to watch out to keep from doing throughout the race, as we're on board right now on the nose of Aiden Young as he follows Jared Beasley. They can't ding the right front up too much, because if you get that off camber, it's going to start driving terribly, terribly wrong, at least relatively to how it should be driving based on the fixed setup. So it's just one of the things you got to deal with. Sometimes these cars are not going to be exactly how you want them, considering it's the same setup for everyone.
Yeah, definitely, and it's based off of the iRacing defaults here, so it's not really like anybody's really had too much of a user input on it. The only difference we had here tonight was, I think, a little bit of a gear change, just to lengthen out on the straights, a little bit of issue with it getting towards the rev limiter there. So it's not really particularly set up to anyone here, even though like people like Tyler Justice per se, they're really starting to pull away. He's got over a 3-second lead now. It's just he's figured the car out. That's all it is.
Well, speaking of able to like setups not suited for anyone right now, the person coming to life that I'm watching right now is Michael Redding. He's been trying to put some moves on Trevor Harmon in front of him. He has not been able to get around him yet, but slowly but surely has closed in on Trevor Harmon to the point where every corner now he's on the back end of Trevor. Actually going to pitch it down. He is underneath him. almost contact. Trevor will get the drive off, but I mean, look for this 2-car to get up there and start contending with Bradley Wilson, possibly even run down Tyler.
Yeah, and off into turns 3 and 4 that time when Michael made that move on Trevor, he really just he missed the corner, quite honestly. He missed the corner, pushed up, but considering Trevor was kind of at the, I guess, the hands of Michael Redding, he couldn't exactly take the corner like he wanted either, so that's why you didn't see Michael just completely lose 20 seconds or something to Trevor Harmon. Obviously, that's exaggerating, but that's why you didn't really see a big loss of time for the 2 cars. Obviously, the guy to the outside is at the liberty of the guy to the inside, so that's kind of something you can use if you're trying to pass somebody. You can just run them up the track, and it's not necessarily the cleanest or the nicest thing to do. You see it there again from Michael Redding, but you can force them out of the line that they're in and definitely mess them up.
2-car almost hits the wall. On my screen, he did get some sparks off the wall, but I don't know if he hit it enough to damage the car or the arrow, but it looks like going into turns 1 and 2, Michael Redding will have the position. He's using the dog leg here to try to get around him. He has been taking 3 and 4 quite aggressively. Look for him to take P3 here, as he does.
And real quick, I want to address a comment in the chat. Ryan Adams was asking if he saw a make load strong hashtag, and I'll bring that back up. That's going to be the nose. Actually, we're going to watch this battle first, because there's a wreck.
Wrecking! Michael Redding, Trevor Harmon, and Jared Beasley involved. That's going to end Michael Redding's night, possibly even Jared Beasley's.
Yeah, well, Michael Redding just pulled right back down the track. I think he's trying to get to the pit lane, and unfortunately that could have been worse. I think if somebody wasn't paying enough attention, that could have really been bad. Michael was just trying to get to the bottom of the track. Can't blame him for that, but that could have been even worse there, as he was just trying to get to the bottom and get to the pits, and almost collected. I think that was Terry Mason. Unfortunately, that is going to involve said McLeod Strong hashtag running car. But yeah, just take a look at this one. This was Trevor Harmon, Michael Redding on lap 23.
It just looks like Trevor got a really good run. Let me go back to it. Looks like Trevor got a good run on Michael coming out of the corner after Michael passed him. Michael was trying to block, and Trevor didn't really give up an inch, and they met right there in the middle, and it bit both Michael and Trevor.
Yeah, and I wish I had a replay clip to bring up from past races, but this is nothing new between these couple of organizations. Riot Motorsports, the team that Trevor Harmon races for, closely, very, very closely aligned with WFL Motorsports, and Michael Redding, of course, running it over at MRM. I believe, actually, that's Evil Outlaws Motorsports now. But these guys, they're not going to give an inch. They're not going to give in to somebody blocking them down the track. They're not going to take a bumper, and I think we saw a little bit of that there. Trevor Harmon did not want to move over for the 2-car, and that's the result.
Yeah, and I can't blame Michael. He was protecting his position, but at the same time, I can't blame Trevor because he was trying to go for that same position, and they just met in the middle. I think this is something that they can maybe sort out after the race, or hopefully sometime in the future and not on the racetrack. But I mean, they were going for the same position going into the corner. Trevor had a good run, and Michael wanted to take out that good run, and it just bit them both.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to play into necessarily all of the politics of the league. We don't want to, I guess, get too involved with all that. Don't want to imply that there's kind of dirty racing going on, but it's just something to keep in mind with these guys, that they're not going to give an inch. I don't think anything intentional went on there. I think it was really just close racing, and they were just trying to pretty much just stop each other's momentum and just pass one another. I don't think it was anything more than that, quite honestly, in my opinion. But you'll see it result in a couple of cars out of the race, unfortunately, and so that's the fact of the matter, is a couple of cars are now out of the race, and it's something to consider that they aren't going to give each other an inch. They aren't going to want to lean on each other much without, maybe putting a door to each other. So not necessarily what was at play, but it's something to consider nonetheless. And now we've got 50 laps to go, boys. That's most of the way through our first stint, our first half of this race, I should say. And these guys still can't take tires until halfway.
So this is going to put us all on an extremely level playing field now. We're going to see how, or if Tyler was able to conserve a little bit, as he does have a little bit of connection issue there, blinking a little bit. But we're going to see if Tyler was saving as he got out to that huge run, or if Bradley was saving, trying to conserve his stuff, maybe to try to either run down Tyler or let Tyler use up his stuff and reel him back in. But this puts us all back on a level playing field. This puts us all back together, close together. So we're just going to have to see how everyone was able to manage their stuff as we go on to go double file.
I was just thinking to myself, I also wish we had some replay footage of the NASCAR Camper World Truck Series race from here in November. I believe it was Chase Briscoe and I can't even think.
I want to say Christopher Bell.
It wasn't, but it was Ben Rhodes, and it was either Ben Rhodes and Austin Cindric or Ben Rhodes and Chase Briscoe, one of the two. And it was really the same kind of situation, but on a restart. And so that was the situation there. Was one driver was blocking another, the other didn't give up any room, and they ended up wrecking off into turn one. But now we're getting back to green here. Tyler Justice has the call. He's back on the loud pedal and off and away. Bradley Wilson to his outside, I think, is going to have the opportunity to get right behind him here on this restart.
Yeah, and that was one of the better restarts I've seen from a P2 in a while. Personally, when I'm on the outside row coming to the green flag, when I'm on the outside front row, that's my kryptonite. I cannot get a start on the leader with anything. Bradley there was able to stick with Tyler, even though Tyler did get a little bit of a better jump, as he should in first place. Bradley was able to stick with him, and he's not letting Tyler get too far right now.
And real quick, before I kind of give Brendan a segue here, Jackson Allen was confirming it was Rhodes and Cindric, and then Anthony James Pritchett asking if they race every Sunday at this time, and they do. And Brendan, based on that caution just a little bit ago, based on this restart, and based on the run prior, how do you think the rest of this race is going to pan out?
Well, I think definitely now that everybody got a second to cool the tires down a little bit more, we may see some people start to push a lot more, especially coming to the stage. They know they can get tires here pretty soon. And then after that, it's just going to be about maintaining those tires and see if they can go the rest of the way green flag here. Or keeping that in the back of the mind that, hey, there's a possibility that we are going to go green flag the rest of the way, so I need to save as soon as I do grab those tires and see if I have something for the long run. But right now, I think it's about push and get what position you can coming to the pit stop.
I definitely have to agree. These guys are going to have to play this as kind of a two-parter to one stint. They're going to have to now push the rest of the way, I think. Obviously, keep in mind these are old tires, but they're going to have to see what they can get before the race break halfway through this race at the completion of lap 39. Real quick, though, we're going to go ahead and do a crank it up and just give you some of the sights and sounds of the NMNTS Racing Series at Phoenix International Raceway. And if you don't enjoy this, I think you need to go to the doctor.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
And as the caution flies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to regular coverage of the NMNTS Super Series at Phoenix International Raceway. Not sure what the caution is. Do you guys have a number on that? Possibly 27 car? I see him slow.
This is the competition caution. This is
Yeah.
the,
Oh, yes, that is
halfway
my
yellow.
bad. Yes, that works out perfectly. I just totally spaced on the lap it was, so under caution for the competition caution, and this time these guys will get to come down the Discount Shop Towels pit road here in the NMNTS Super Series, and got to thank Discount Shop Towels for sponsoring the pit road and being a big partner of the NMNTS. You can even see them on the back end of Bradley Wilson's car. We'll give you a shot of that in just a second. And you can see the logo right there on the back end of the 51 car. Once more, these guys will be coming down the Discount Shop Towels pit road, and we'll bring up their logo here in just a moment. And I know there's a discount code you can use. I think I'll bring in Brad on this this caution. I totally forgot what the code was because I had some things go wrong before the race. But as these guys come down the DiscountShopTowels.com pit road, I think these guys will all be taking 4 tires rather. I don't think anyone's really going to take 2 tires. That kind of seems like a bad idea to me. Just seems like, you know, the tires were starting to wear off. They were getting tighter and tighter. And I think 4 tires would be a good balance between the right sides and the left side grip that you need.
I definitely got to agree on that. And their one real opportunity here, guaranteed to grab a whole set of tires. I'd just take it when you have the chance.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other thing that these guys are also going to have to work with that's really going to help them will probably be the fact that they can get a full tank, get some weight in the back end, and actually get the back end to try and turn around. Obviously, these will be some slower pit stops. These are not NASCAR pit crews. I think Aiden Young took 2 tires. He's off and away. I think Bradley Wilson may have done the same. Did they really only take 4?
Aiden and Bradley both took 4, beat Tyler Justice off pit road. Tyler also took 4.
It may have been some damage repairs. They may have also taken a little less fuel to try and get out ahead of Tyler Justice. I believe it is the fuel that takes up most of the time in these pit stops. So either way, you see the race off a pit road. It's going to be Aiden Young out ahead of the 51 of Bradley Wilson. Bradley won't lose or gain anything, but Tyler Justice is going to end up losing 2 spots now to Aiden Young, and unfortunately, there was something going wrong there with the ticker. Anyways, you can see here, again, once more, thank you to Discount Shop Towels for sponsoring the pit road in the NMNTS Super Series. We'll bring up the other logo for them there. But yeah, I mean, a shakeup in the pits, guys. Do you think that'll affect the rest of this race?
Go ahead.
I want to say yeah, and thank you. I apologize for breaking you up, by the way, but I think yeah. We know Tyler. He's a good racer. He's a dang good racer when he's out front. He knows the lines and he knows how to get up front and put on a lead. We saw him get out to a 3-second lead earlier, but so we're gonna have to see how aggressive he's gonna be trying to get around both Bradley and Aiden. Bradley was able to stick with him just a little bit there on the last run. He got out to a little bit of a lead, but Bradley was able to stick with him. So we're going to see how hard Aiden and Bradley are going to push here to try to stay in front of Tyler, or how hard Tyler is going to push to try to get out in front of both Aiden and Bradley.
And this is where I was going to bring Brad up. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that chance. We'll try on the next caution if we have one. If not, we'll try after the race. We'll make sure to get that promo code from Discount Shop Towels on the broadcast one way or another. But coming to the restart this time, guys, it's going to be all Aiden Young up in the lead. Bradley Wilson on the outside once more. And we're actually going to go back through the field a little bit. We're going to go on board with short track racer Clayton Kurtz in the number 8 car. We're going to go on board with him for this restart and show y'all at home exactly how it's done and exactly what these guys get to see on these restarts. They're pretty chaotic, quite honestly. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to really gain spots in the NMNTS Racing Series, especially at a place like this. And we'll wait for Aiden Young to restart the race. There they go. And Clayton Kurtz on the loud pedal as well. We'll watch as he tries to navigate from 10th place to try and get some spots on this restart.
And really, in these cars, and especially at this track, this is the most valuable time to pick up spots, is right here on the restart. everyone's clumped together. Some people might get a worse restart than others. So if you can take advantage of that, you get a good restart yourself. If you take advantage of getting a really good restart and them getting a bad restart and pick up a few positions, it's all going to work out better for you in the end.
Yeah,
You
and
saw
as we're
up
now
ahead.
on. Go ahead, Brennan.
Let's say up ahead, Tyler Justice already worked his way around Bradley Wilson. He's starting to fight Aiden Young now already.
Yeah,
Now,
Tyler
this could-
Justice through to second place now. He gets to work on that Hope for Pause dodge of Aiden Young. I'm not exactly sure how quickly he'll be able to get by him. Obviously, Tyler Justice now in a different position from where he was that entire previous run, where he was able to pretty much just walk away and conserve his tires that way. But guys, this time he has to work through traffic and has to deal with trying to get by that 9 car of Aiden Young, and that's just going to take up more tires, Zach.
And like I was about to say, this could work out in Bradley's favor. He let Tyler go. Now Tyler has to work his tires. He's got to work his wheel to try to get around Aiden. Aiden's going to work his tires and work his wheel to try to keep Tyler behind him. So in all, this could work out in Bradley's favor as I believe we're coming to almost 25 to go now. This could work out in Bradley's favor as these guys up in front, as Tyler's looking for the lead now to the inside of Aiden Young. This could really work out on Bradley's tires and really hurt Tyler and Aiden in the long run.
And Tyler Justice looking to make easy work of Aiden Young. I think he'll clear him. No, he won't clear him just yet out of turn 4. They have a drag race down the front straightaway, and Tyler Justice is going to have to give it another shot through this lap. But considering he's going into the dogleg on the bottom side, you'll have the advantage into 3 at the very least. So Aiden's going to have to find a way to work against that. Although I wouldn't be surprised to see Aiden Young possibly just give it to him here and conserve tires for the rest of the run, almost like Bradley Wilson did a few laps ago. Certainly wouldn't be a bad idea, but you see Aiden Young actually looking low. He's trying to find something on the apron, guys.
He got one heck of a run coming out of turn 4 on that high side. He did get back up next to Tyler. This is going to force Tyler to stay on the bottom line here going into 1 and 2. Like I said, use up his tires just a little bit. Aiden now clear of Tyler Justice, or Tyler Justice now clear of Aiden. Looks like they're still battling going into 3 and 4.
And this is exactly what Bradley Wilson needs. Bradley actually right here needs to let Aiden go back up there, get to the 7 car, and try and pressure Tyler some more. He needs to get Tyler in an adverse position. He needs to get him to use some tires up, and I think Aiden Young is his best way to get that done. And I really think he just needs to let Aiden get up there. I don't see any other way that Bradley's going to be able to beat that 7 car. Obviously, Tyler Justice was very fast that first run. And I really don't see any other way to go up there and just outright beat him.
That's a good way of thinking about it. Just he can't let Aiden let Tyler run away either. If Tyler does start to run away from Aiden like he is now, Bradley needs to get around Aiden as fast as possible. He can't let Tyler get away and stay stuck behind Aiden, hoping that Aiden gets up there and starts messing with Tyler. Like right now, Aiden has slipped back to, I want to say, about a 4/10 drop, actually, as Tyler starts to blink out here a little bit. Bradley needs to get around Aiden if Tyler does start to run off as soon as possible.
And real quick, before we lose the opportunity, I want to call attention to Kenneth Yance, currently in the 4th position. This guy's been making some noise lately on the short tracks of the NMNTS, and you see him here in the 4th position, currently at Phoenix International Raceway in the Super Late models, doing a great job in that underfunded motorsports machine. Honestly, I really do think he's just doing a great job right now, putting that car in the 4th spot, just ahead of Corey Walters, and Corey Walters has been quiet all night as well. In the famous, at this point, I guess, famous, infamous, whichever way you want to look at it, Dodge, I think, SS, or Chevy Charger, one of the two. If you look at the front grille of that car, you'll see what I mean. It really is interesting when you take a look at it.
In the front of Kenneth?
No, on the front of Corey Walters' car.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll call that a Chevy Charger for now.
A Chevy Charger.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Moving further back through the field, Jason Burgess currently in the 6th position, just ahead of Terry Mason. Jason Burgess, one of the guys in the Evil Outlaw Alliance there. Terry Mason, a part of Riot Motorsports. Right Racing. I don't remember which one it is. Either way, in the WFO affiliation, Justin Richter in the 97 currently in 8th position. Clayton Kurtz also in the WFO affiliation in 9th in the number 8 car. A little further back is going to be Joseph Andukar, the third in the number 13 car, currently running in the 10th spot, and I think that's a great run for him. This isn't really his forte when it comes to iRacing, so it's cool to see him in the top 10.
Continuing on with we go back to Derek Robinson here in the good old Dushine Dale Jr. scheme that Jr. ran, I believe, at Bristol. It's a sexy little paint scheme there. After him, we got Ron Miller in 12th. Trevor Harmon, who was caught up earlier in that wreck in the pits now. So right now we have 12 drivers right now out on the track, being the last one that's still running is Ron Miller.
And back up to the front, Tyler Justice has now gapped over Bradley Wilson rather than Aiden Young. So we're back to how it was before that halfway break and the pit stops. Tyler Justice now out in front by about 0.6 of a second over Bradley Wilson. And it's another about 3 to 4 tenths of a second back to Aiden Young in third. And then you go all the way back to Kenneth Yance in fourth, who actually has Corey Walters knocking on his door.
And as we look back here at Corey Walters and Kenneth Yance, Corey is catching Kenneth here in a little bit, but I just want to bring attention right now to Bradley and Tyler. The last I looked at Bradley was 0.6 back from Tyler. He is now 0.5 back from Tyler. I don't know if Tyler's saving or if Bradley's charging hard, but as of right now, here a little bit, Bradley is catching Tyler. He's now reeled him into 0.4 now, as Bradley has turned on the juice a little bit trying to catch Tyler.
Yeah, currently you can see the 51 going down onto the apron, coming back up. That's actually a very rigorous transition for these cars to make. Quite honestly, I think if they were to end up figuring out or finding a way to do it really hard, you could end up bending up some fenders on these cars. I think it'd be pretty hard to do, but I think it's also possible. So haven't seen it happen yet, I don't think. I think all the damage out there is from just getting into the wall or other cars, but it's certainly something to think about. I think out in practice a little while ago, I managed to dent my right front from it, so obviously shorter way around the racetrack, faster way around the racetrack, but it can also be detrimental to the race car.
It also depends on how hard you're coming onto that banking. Like you're coming from a straight or a flat apron onto a banked track, so like you were saying, it also depends on how hard you come back up the track. You could wait until the track straightens out with the apron and then get back on it, or as the track's curving on the apron, you can try to put your car in that situation, but it's very harsh on the cars.
Yeah, and it definitely is. And real quick, Brennan, where have you been watching? Because, I mean, there's battles all over this racetrack, and I also don't know which one to follow.
Mostly I've been watching back towards like Jason Burgess and Terry Mason and Corey Walters, Kenneth Yance right in there. The two they're kind of checked out from being one group there, but they're still battling out in duos pretty close there.
Sounds good. Well, here you can see the 21 on screen. That's Jason Burgess trying to chase down that number 75 of Terry Mason. And they've actually kind of walked away from Justin Richter right now in the 97 car. He's not really in the picture just yet, but he is there in case something bad happens to one of the cars ahead of him. So if something really big happens to either the 75 or the 21, and actually Justin Richter maybe starting to make some ground on Jason Burgess. Just as I was saying, he's kind of out of the picture. We see him making up some ground. Guys, do you think the 97 can get there and make that pass?
I'd like to think he can do it. He's definitely making up the time. Got caught up in some damage earlier, but I don't think it's affecting the car too much. So I think he's definitely got a chance here. Maybe Jason just burned the tires off a little bit too soon. Come to 10 to go this time. Coming up. Battle heating up ahead with Kenneth Yance and Corey Walters. Corey Walters just about right on his bumper the last corner there.
Yeah, I've been watching this battle up here with Corey and Kenneth, and pretty much every turn one I'm seeing that, well, except this time as we start to speak about it, Kenneth was using that high line out of turn one to try to get some speed and momentum out of it, as Corey was using the low side. They were staying pretty much even, but these guys have stayed pretty much even. Corey has gotten up to his bumper, but ever since then, he just really hasn't been able to make a move on Kenneth Yance. As of right now, Kenneth does start to pull away just a little bit.
Yeah, with 9 laps to go now, we're on board with Corey Walters as he tries to pursue that 72 car. I don't know if he's going to be able to get there, but he's certainly in a prime position to do so. Obviously, he got there once before, but it's going to be tough once you wear those tires up and get them a little too hot. It's tough to get back up there. I think these guys are really downshifting and using, I guess, the looseness of third gear, just the wheel spin of third gear, really, to make the cars loose and get somewhere. But I don't think it's going to work for that 28. You saw him lose a lot of time through turns 3 and 4 that last time. Want to quickly call attention back to the back of the field one more time before we go back up to the front for the final few laps. Right now, Joseph Andujar, again, running in the 10th spot. Currently in 10th. Derek Robinson in the 11th spot. Just want to call attention to these guys so they get their fair share of TV time, obviously.
Oh, we got one spinning. The 97 of Justin Richter. Sorry to cut you off there, Andrew. He's sitting right at the edge of pit lane. Caution will fly. This is going to stack everyone up, and this changes everything.
Yeah, and that's something the admins may go back and look at. Obviously, sitting on the track, not the greatest idea.
He's stuck.
One bad thing, or one bad corner from somebody getting real loose out of that corner could have been detrimental to the 97's cause there. Obviously, want to draw the caution for his sake, but you also have to consider he could have pulled up. If somebody had gotten loose, these cars can do it all the time. You get the apron one time and you're loose out of 4. Anything could have happened, that's all I'm saying, but we see Justin Richter is going to pull off and be just fine after that caution there. He can't take tires, unfortunately, so he won't be able to get any tires on that car, but he was chasing down Jason Burgess just before we left him, and he was still doing just that, and it looks like he does exactly what I was saying. I think he might have, I don't know.
Well, from what I was seeing, like you were saying, he was catching Jason Burgess, and he might have saw Jason check up just a little bit more than he anticipated, got on the brakes a little bit harder, maybe spun the back of the car around, I don't know, but he was losing it coming out of 4 when you're supposed to be getting on the gas, so maybe he just got on it a little bit too aggressive and it just turned the car around.
I know exactly what happened here. He was trying to get up from 3rd gear into 4th, and it didn't go into 4th.
Oh, that could have been it.
I have that same issue with my own shifter. That's the only reason I even know what just happened there. And I used to have that same issue back on the NASCAR games from time to time because this was one of the tracks I shifted at. I've even backed a car into the fence while leading because I was upshifting and it didn't go into gear. And so that's exactly what happened there, I think, is he was trying to upshift from 3rd to 4th. It didn't go into 4th. I don't know what gear it would have gone into, possibly 2nd, possibly 1st. I don't know. It could have been a glitch too, and that's what ended up sending that 97 car for a ride. And that really changes everything. Obviously, a caution with 5 laps to go is gonna shake things up.
Yeah, this is gonna shake everything up. I believe we're taking 2 to green here, if I'm not mistaken. I was watching a little bit of Bradley and Tyler as well. They were staying pretty much even lap times and how far they were gapped. I mean, Tyler would yap Bradley a little bit, and then the next lap Bradley would close in on Tyler a little bit. These guys were staying pretty much even lap time, so we might just have ourselves a battle for the lead with about 2 or last lap to go, so we're just going to have to keep our eyes up here.
We're going to quickly dial up Bradley Wilson, see if we can't talk to him real quick. Bradley Wilson, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, we're cutting it a little bit close here. Going to try and get you out of here before the green flag flies, but you're hanging right there with Tyler Justice. You were doing a pretty decent job of just keeping maintaining a gap to him. Do you think you have a shot here with about a 2 or 3 lap shootout to get him?
I don't know. We're going to find out. With the limited set of tires in this series, since the break, I've just kind of been riding. When I saw him jump to the inside of Aiden right after the green flew, I just kind of rode and saved my stuff. And the original plan was to wait till about now to really start trying to push it and catch him. So we're going to find out.
Well, real quick, brought it up earlier at the race break with the pit road. The discount shot towels promo code. I can't remember what it is. I have an idea, but I don't want to speak wrongly. Can you remind me real quick of what that is?
Yeah, promo code Thunder18 gonna get you 5% off. www.discountshoptowels.com.
All right, well, thank you very much for that. We'll let you get back down to your office real quick and get ready for a 2-lap shootout. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, sir.
And again, that was Bradley Wilson of the number 51 machine out here tonight. The Toyota Camry, I believe, on that car. And coming through turns 3 and 4, Brennan, Zach, this is going to be a heck of a shootout. 2 laps to decide it all.
Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but these two do have a history. I've raced with these two. I've heard both sides of these two. These two do have a history. As Tyler takes off, green flag's in the air. Bradley does stick with him just a little bit. He's able to get down if he wants it, but I don't know if it's going to come up. But these two do have a history, so we're just going to have to see how these two play coming towards the white flag this time by.
3 wide further back, but that's not bothering the top 3 at all as they roll away to a pretty big lead. Caution out in the back. That's it.
That's going to end it.
And we'll see exactly who that was. Looks like it's the 23 and the 97. So we'll go back a minute and get a replay on this for all the way from the restart. It looked like there was some heavy damage to both cars as the 23 was completely stuffed up in the outside wall, in the outside of the dogleg out of turn 2. And so we'll get a quick look at this before these guys finish the race off under caution. Again, you're watching the 23 in the center of your screen and the 97 who's on the outside here. Actually, I think he was trying to miss the 818. I think Ron was just trying to take the normal line through the dogleg and they just collided.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. The 97 slowed up for the 818 there just a little bit. Didn't want to get into him, trying to dive off of him to get his speed re-going. Just the 23 was there, didn't see him, and it just caused a big one coming out of turns 1 and 2 in the middle of the dogleg.
And as we watch this replay, the race has ended. Tyler Justice is your winner. Just wanted to show you this final replay of that wreck there, but Tyler Justice will be your winner from Phoenix International Raceway. We'll watch his celebration here. Bradley Wilson in second place. We were just talking to him. We'll get to talk to him some more about how his race actually went. We'll also get to catch up with Aiden Young. And that will be the conclusion of the night. We'll get to see Tyler's celebration here as he likely burns him down at Phoenix International Raceway.
Well, this was a fun race. I had a good time watching this one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this race. I wasn't exactly sure how these cars would handle the 1 mile track of Phoenix International. Obviously, most maybe don't consider this place a short track, but I really do. It drives like a short track. It's just a lot faster. So I really do consider this to be one of the short tracks on the NASCAR circuit. But it definitely does drive like something else. It drives differently, obviously, than places like Richmond or even Myrtle Beach or something like that, but I consider this place a short track, and I think it's a good place for these cars to run based on tonight. I think it was a very fun race.
I agree with you. I mean, with these cars being pretty much even through the whole race and having that last lap or that last caution put everyone together with even cars, it was a fun race to watch. It was it didn't feel too long, so I mean, it was short and sweet. But they had a lot of punch in these cars. We had some cautions, we had some get-togethers, but all in all, I thought it was just a fantastic race.
And as I start to organize these guys in your interview booth here, guys, I will let you kind of choose who you want to talk to, or choose who wants to go first, basically. Whoever goes first can bring up Aiden Young when you are ready.
Brandon, you go ahead, and whoever you want here, you go ahead and go first.
Alright, Aiden, this is Brendan with the Inside TV booth. You got a copy with us?
I got a copy.
Alrighty, buddy. Finished off third tonight. Weren't quite able to get up there towards the end before that final caution came out to have real good contention at taking away a win. How'd you feel about tonight, though?
I just felt pretty solid all night. Just had a great car. Just a little tight, but nothing we could handle. But it is what it is, and great to have a third place finish.
Alrighty, yeah. Well, how'd the track drive? It's obviously not a track a lot of people tend to associate here with the super late models. How'd that go for you?
The track drove pretty well, like when you're on new tires, but once you got on them old tires, you were pretty much just hanging on for the ride and hope you don't hit the wall.
Alrighty, well, you have anyone you'd like to shout out here before we move you back down?
I just want to thank Jaeger Racing, Hope for Paws, Bradley, Tyler, and everyone at NMNTS for racing me clean.
Alrighty, buddy. Well, we'll move you back down and let you celebrate your third place finish.
Alrighty.
And that was Aiden Young out of the number 9 Jaeger entry. And Zach Lindgren, I'll let you move Bradley up when you're ready.
Alrighty. Bradley, this is Zach up here in the PSI TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4, guys.
All right, well, we were talking to you just before that last restart there, but before we get to that, I want to ask you, how did the car feel out there on the track? We were talking about how this isn't usually a car that's out here at Phoenix, but we're going to bring it out here once more in the season. How did the car feel for you, and did you gain valuable information later in the season?
Yeah, we definitely gained a lot of information about how to use the dog leg and where to use it and stuff like that. As far as drivability, I almost drove it about like you would drive a truck here. I've always liked this place and got a special knack for this track. I feel like we led a lot of laps here in the fall last year in the truck series, so I kind of went in with that approach, and luckily it paid off for me. But yeah, like you said, it's not really a car that you usually bring here. So I found that if I was patient with the throttle, picking up the throttle through the corner, you can almost watch the front end turn, and then you just roll into it and come off from there.
Yeah, speaking about that patience, on that first run before the competition caution came out, you let everyone behind you, pretty much let Tyler get out to about a 3-second lead. We were talking about saving tires and how much of a factor those tires could be during the run. Does that hold any truth, or do you feel like you could have gone all out for the first run?
Oh no, definitely. It holds truth to the fullest. I've always, with that limited set of tires, I kind of just let him skate out there, and he drove away, but I wasn't going to push mine and try to catch him. It's a lot of discipline, but we, my plan going in was to save my stuff through the first segment and then come in and get tires, and we were going to follow. And like I said, when I saw Tyler jump under Aiden when we come back racing, I saw him jump to the inside, and I thought, man, I'm just going to ride back here and lay in, and hopefully maybe they'll wear their stuff out. And then when the caution come out, that was actually about the time I was fixing to try to make another run at it.
Yeah, before we let you go, I just want to ask you one last question. We mentioned coming to that last green flag on the last few runs that you were pretty much keeping even with Tyler. Did you think you had the advantage over him? He had the advantage over you. You saved more tires. Pretty much on that last run, what were you feeling with the car, and where did you feel like you were going to best him at?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you ever really can best Tyler Justice. He's a champion of this league for a reason. He's a heck of a shoe. We kind of maintained, and then I did feel like at the end of the race that just watching what he was doing and following in the line, I kind of felt like maybe I had saved a little bit more than he had. And I tested it once or twice and kind of drove up to him a little bit, just playing around with it to see if I could actually make the run. So we were pretty confident that this old discount shop towels, Oil Can Hancock's car could get there, but that caution come out and kind of ruined it for us.
I got you. Well, before we let you go, you got anybody you want to thank out there before we move you back down?
Oh yeah, once again, like I said, I want to thank Oil Can Hancocks for being on the car. Also want to thank my new sponsor this season, www.discountshoptowels.com. Want to encourage everybody to go check their brands out if you're working on cars for a living or just a hobby even. They've got a lot of cool products. You use promo code Thunder18, get a 5% discount off your order there. And also can't go without thanking my beautiful wife at VA Graphics for all the hard work she does to make this thing look good going around the track.
Heck yeah, buddy. Well, congrats on the second place finish. You almost had Tyler there. Hope to talk with you afterwards. But for now, buddy, we look forward to seeing you next week out on the track.
All right, boys. Appreciate you. Thank all y'all up in the booth as well.
No problem.
And again, that was Bradley Wilson from WFO Motorsports. Actually, somebody moving down there already. Cool. We're going to bring up race winner real quick, Tyler Justice, and then Brendan and Zach, I'll let you choose between the lesser of the two evils, I guess. Up to you on who you want to get between Trevor Harmon and Michael Redding. But I do want to cover that before the night's over, so I'll let you guys decide amongst yourselves. Use the chat through TeamSpeak, whatever you got to do, as I bring up race winner Tyler Justice.
All right.
Tyler Justice, this is Andrew in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, Tyler, obviously starting the season off right in the almost said TN Designs, the NMNTS Super Series, and did pretty good out there. Led a bunch of laps, 68 to be exact. I think the only thing you didn't lead was when Aiden got the best of you in pit road there. But honestly, just great job with that super late model tonight. How'd the car feel, and what were you doing to beat these guys?
Yeah, the car felt pretty good all night. I've actually never ran this car at this track before, so it was definitely a learning curve during practice. But got it all figured out in practice and had a pretty good race and lost the lead there in the pit stops, like you said, to Aiden. Accidentally left the fuel checked, and it took a little bit extra time in the pits for that, so we lost the lead there. But got back up to the front real quick and finished the thing off. Bradley hung with us there for most of the race, so shout out to him. I was waiting for him to put something together and make a run at me there at the end, but the caution came out. So, but yeah, ended it in victory lane and couldn't be happier.
Now, when Zach brought Bradley up, he mentioned running this car at this track, kind of like the truck. And just want to real quick cover if there was any similarity that you noticed between the truck and the super late model here, or if they're just completely different animals.
Kind of a little bit. It kind of resembled the two cars in turns 3 and 4, where you kind of have to dive it in on the bottom and let it drift up in the middle and then cut it back down off the corner. Can't really go in high and then come back down. You lose too much time. So in that way, I guess it's a similarity. But yeah, that's about all I can think of. But yeah, overall, it was a great race and excited to get the win.
And real quick, obviously there's been some coverage of the I guess revived almost rivalry between obvious sides of the coin when it comes to WFO versus, I believe it's Evil Outlaw now instead of MRM. Is that any concern for you moving forward with your teammates going into the 2018 season, or would you rather just try and defend your Truck Series title and get a couple more on Sunday and Tuesday?
Yeah, I'd definitely like to repeat what we did last year, but yeah, it's just on track, not really beef, but there is a rivalry there. But we're all friends and we get along pretty well, so I don't think we'll have any problems. But there's definitely a rivalry between us on track, and whoever gets the win, the other team's just gonna get some beef and stuff like that. But other than that, we all pretty much work well together.
All right, man. Well, real quick before we let you go, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to for putting that car underneath you tonight?
Yes, sir. I want to thank SimSpec as always for giving me a great car to put on the track. I want to thank all my teammates and thank you guys in the booth for doing this race.
Real quick before you go, Tyler, I have a question to ask you. We coming down towards the end of it, I kind of mentioned, like Andrew was saying, the rivalry between the two teams, and actually you're on the team that's rivaled with the team that I'm on. We kind of have this brotherly love thing going on between the two teams. But I mentioned during the race that you and Bradley had a little bit of a history. Was that weighing on your mind at all coming down towards the end, or did you just keep your eyes forward and try to bring in that victory?
I mean, a little bit. I mean, you can't think a lot about that when you're racing, or you'll miss your marks and stuff like that. So you just got to keep your mind focused. But what happened then was in the past, so put that behind us, and we'll keep moving forward.
Hey, Tim Farr, I hear you, bud.
Sounds good. Well, you have a great night there, Tyler, and congrats on the win here at Phoenix.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
And that was your race winner tonight, Tyler Justice, out of the SimSpec number 7. Now, guys, I'll leave it to, I think Brennan can go first. He was first with the previous interview. So, Brennan, I'll let you bring up the driver of your choice here to talk about that incident we saw a little while ago, just to get some thoughts on it.
Alrighty. Trevor Hartman, this is Brendan with the PSI TV booth. You got a copy with us?
10-4, I got a copy.
Alrighty, but I'll bring you up here to have a little interview maybe with you on what we saw happen a little bit earlier with you and the 2-car Michael Redding. Any thoughts on that?
I guess I could just take it as good old hard racing. I felt like I had a really good car, and just sucks to have it ended shorted.
Yeah, definitely. Any bad blood coming out of it, you think, or is it something you're just gonna try and leave in the past and move on?
Nah, I don't like to keep grudges. I'll take it. I'll move on, and we'll go on next week and see how we do.
Alrighty, well, I'll give you an opportunity here if you want to shout out any sponsors, anything like that. Get that over the broadcast.
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks to my team, Ride Motorsports. I don't have all my sponsors on my new car yet, but Flip Switch Gaming, BA Graphics, I really appreciate everything that they do, and thank you to all of you guys for putting on this, wonderful broadcast. Really love all the things that you guys do, and hopefully we'll do better next week.
Alrighty, well, I think we'll get you moved back on down here.
And now, Zach, it's your go whenever you want to bring Michael up.
All right. Michael Redding, this is Zach up here in the PSI TV booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty. Well, we saw you running up through the field. We kept an eye on you about lap 15. You got a little bit of a tangle. In the most PG-13 version that we can get, what happened there going into turn 1?
Sound like you know me too well, Zach.
Just a little too well.
It was just a boneheaded move on my part. Tried to throw a block. Tried to get the run into the corner. And, yeah, I'll take the blame for it after I watch the replay, but at first I was a little hot about it. Felt like he kind of could have given a little bit, but after watching the replay, I'll take full blame for it.
Yeah, we hear you, bud. Well, it takes more of a man to apologize than to keep his pride up and just, say it was never his fault. So I respect you for that. But like we were saying at the time of the caution, we're both competitors at the end of the day. We all want to go out and keep that position. You did pass Trevor cleanly coming out of that turn 4. He did get a run on you. We saw that you wanted to block him. We saw you wanted the same position. You guys met in the middle there. But yeah, like I was saying, at the end of the day, you're competitors. You wanted to keep that position. So I respect you for admitting that it was your fault. Before we let you go, though, is there anybody you want to thank out there?
Yeah, I'll thank BA Graphics for all their hard work putting graphics on the cars. I don't have the super late model one yet. We're just kind of running a throwback to Rich Bickle, kind of old school look. But other than that, man, I appreciate y'all doing a good job up there. I guess I had to listen to most of the broadcast since I had a boneheaded move there.
Don't put yourself down too hard, buddy. You'll go get him. You're a strong runner in these cars. We've all seen it. You proved it tonight that you're able to get up there and chase down these guys and even work against the best of them. Real quick though, we've been mentioning it all night. Before we let you go, that your team is a part in a little bit of a brotherly love rivalry with the team that I'm on. Evil Outlaw, I believe that you guys have changed it against WFO over here. I feel like it's a little bit of a brotherly love. It's that, we hate you at one point, but we stick together when times get tough. But you care to mention on that just a little bit there?
Yeah, I guess I kind of take that a little more serious than any of them. Being the team owner, I want to beat y'all so bad it's not even funny.
I get you,
and I enjoy rubbing it in every chance I get.
Oh, hey, right back at you. Every time we get the better of you, we like to give you beef.
This team ain't nothing without Tyler and Bruno and Jared. I consider myself one of the weakest links on this team. They do all the work, make me look good.
Nah, don't put yourself don't put yourself down like that, buddy. You like I was saying, you're good in these cars, you're good in the trucks. Just got to get out that bad luck here in a little bit.
Yeah, I think this season's gonna be a good one for me. Been performing well, just got up in some bad stuff.
Yeah, we hear you, bud. Well, we thank you for coming up here with us, giving us your thoughts on that last caution, on the caution that you were involved. We thank you for all the kind words that you gave here for the PSI TV and NMNTS, and we hope to see you again next week and a good run, buddy.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
You too.
And that was Michael Redding. And so, good deal catching up with those two. Seems like they're mostly over it. I think Trevor might hold some harsher feelings than Michael did at this point. And it's really cool to see, fault being admitted. Won't get into too much more than that. Don't want to, like I said, get into too many of the politics, but do obviously want to give some of the insight to what's going on in the NMNTS Racing Series, considering can definitely confirm now that all 3 NMNTS Racing Series divisions will be here on PSI TV all season, with the exception for Daytona, because I'll actually be at Daytona. So that's the only one that we can't get on air for a good reason for me, possibly a bad outcome for the NMNTS Racing Series, but I think they'll work on something in the meantime while I'm gone. But everything else you can come to PSI TV for throughout 2018 if you want to catch NMNTS races before or after the fact, and we'll start working on getting it to multiple platforms for the rest of the season. I know that's one thing that Ken Yance and I have talked about in depth, so if you're looking to catch more NMNTS action, definitely come to PSI TV. This is the place to go. And if you're wanting to get in on some of the action, if you're a super late model driver, just contact the NMNTS Racing Series on Facebook. If you're a Cup Series driver, just contact the NMNTS Racing Series on Facebook. Either way, I think you can work something out with the officials to go ahead and join the league. I think it's definitely worth it. And I think that'll be it from Phoenix International Raceway tonight. Got to thank everyone for tuning in. This has been PSI TV with Andrew Cardinale, Zach Lindgren, and Brendan Elshoff, of course, in the booth. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great night.